You were a phenomenally fast recovery, like from crawling up the stairs on day one to then you walked up on day two, I think.
Walked up,
And what happened on day three?
I ran up.
I'm on the road, it's my life, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show.
Hello and welcome to the Recovery Project. Today is super exciting. We have Stephen here who is going to blow your mind with his recoveries from chronic fatigue and chronic pain. And he's going to challenge a whole lot of your stereotypes about cerebral palsy and people who have a slightly unusual voice, because Stephen has had to come through a lot of personal challenges in his life, having had some oxygen starvation in his brain during the birth process, which affected his right hand and his speech. So you can imagine how cruel kids at school could be about that. But Stephen has come through all that to be a wonderfully quick-witted, smart, happy, joyful, fun person to be around, with a great career and a great wife and an amazing child. He's living the dream. He's got such a great life. And it's going to be so exciting to share these stories with you today. So welcome, Stephen.
Thank you.
So I know we first met all the way back in 2014 when you had chronic fatigue and chronic pain. That was what you actually came to me for, wasn't it? You didn't even
Yes.
think about whether you could improve the cerebral palsy because you'd had that all your life. It was chronic fatigue and pain. So tell us about how bad things were when you first came to me.
I was at the end of everything, just really active and enjoyed walking, enjoyed biking, to
Mm.
crawling around the house.
Oh,
I was in hospital and like just chatting to mum and going, my life is changed. I've
mm,
bought a house. What would happen? I can't. I struggle to work. I
mm,
just, yeah, and after doing the medical side of it, and that did not work,
no.
I had some friends and some families who encouraged me to come and see you at Empower Therapies. The first challenge I did was I crawled up to your lounge where you
Mm,
hosted the course on all fours.
mm.
I think I just yawned and yawned. I was shattered.
Yeah.
We got there on about day two.
You were a phenomenally fast recovery, like from crawling up the stairs on day one to then you walked up on day two, I think.
Walked up,
And what happened on day three?
I ran up.
Nice.
Every morning you told us to do a little challenge.
Mm,
Morning of day two, I went for a little walk and
mm.
just pondering and reflecting on what we learned on day one. And I walked and walked and came to right better head up the hill, and holy smokes, I walked for 40 minutes.
Wow, that's awesome. And that last hill up to the venue I used to teach in, that is a big steep hill.
Yes,
So
definitely. Yeah,
yeah, well
yeah,
done. And so I'm noticing you're talking about beliefs. So you think beliefs was the biggest thing that needed to
yes,
change for
yeah.
you?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Looking back now, I went downhill really fast from a sociable person who didn't want to go out or physically couldn't go out. And on and I still remember your analogy talking about a sticky plaster when
Nice.
you cut yourself. You might put a plaster on your cut, and you don't stand there and go heal, heal, heal.
Yeah, so you just know that that cut will heal all by itself. There's nothing
Yeah.
more you need to do about it. And so did you then, you applied that principle to your whole body, did you?
Whole
Trusting
body,
that your
yeah,
body can heal. Your body is an amazing healing
yeah,
mechanism.
yeah,
Nice. And your body healed with phenomenal speed. You know, to
definitely.
how long had you had the chronic fatigue and the chronic pain when you came to me?
11 months.
11 months, right.
Yeah.
And then you were 40-minute walk on day 2, walking up the stairs,
So,
and then
and
running on day
on
3.
day 3, I've got nothing to lose. I'm just going to go out there, and I did run in the past, and so I went for a 2K run.
Nice. That's
And
awesome.
then I think I ran up your steps on day 3 thinking
I remember
I've
that.
done it.
Yeah, totally. You were
Yeah,
one of the fastest recoveries from chronic fatigue and chronic pain. That was amazing. I know you also mentioned, so beliefs was a big part to trust your body again. You also told me that lifestyle choices were quite big in your healing. Tell us some more about that.
yeah. So I'm I'm an early childhood teacher, and now I'm a full-time reliever. I can still do what I love doing, but I can find the balance between life and work life.
Mm. So you're a bundle of health these days.
Yes, yeah, and I find that need to come and see you on a yearly basis. That what they call a warrant of fitness for a
Nice.
house.
Yeah.
And on the way again, earlier this year, I came
Nice.
to see you after a bad stint of COVID
Mm.
and not healthy beliefs on the head. And
Nice.
I went out of the Zoom course running.
Nice. So you knocked the COVID for 6 as well, really quickly. So yeah, I mean, I know every time I see you, Stephen, you always have this amazingly fast response to it because you're great at just taking on the ideas and going, right, this is what I need to change, and then you have a spectacular change. One of the other things that has always excited me having you as a client was when on, I think it was on day 2 or day 3, when you were already all better from your chronic fatigue and chronic pain, and it was your turn to step out of process. And it's like, well, I don't need it for fatigue or pain anymore. I'm all better. And so, so we decided that you'd have a go at working on cerebral palsy, which we didn't know if you could change anything about that because
Yeah,
it's been like that since birth. You've had a part of your brain that got oxygen starved and sort of died off at birth, and but we're like, well, let's give it a go. And I remember that fantastic moment where your hand went from curled up like
wow,
this and it just opened and went out.
awesome.
It
Yeah,
was amazing. It just had tears just
yeah,
pouring down my face, like, oh my gosh, that's incredible that something can change
yeah.
after so long when that birth trauma, had physically damaged a
Yeah.
part of your brain. So tell us about that moment because it's so special.
Yeah, I used to hold my right hand into my stomach all clenched after coming to you. I find that position flaming uncomfortable, and
You've got a lot more flexibility and freedom in it now as it's all sort of opened out
yes,
a lot more.
yeah,
Nice, which was so exciting. And of course, your voice as well. Now, clearly it hasn't gone back to 100%, but your voice is so much better than it used to be. And from how it was when you first came to me, I think you can talk at probably, what, 2 or 3 times the speed that you
Wow.
used to be able to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
Can you remember how that used to be when you'd have like, really slow pronunciation of words and get
I,
stuck
I've,
partway through a
I've,
word?
I vaguely remember it. I used to be quite shy. If people don't know me, it's how people react, that stereotype. I
Totally.
find people can be quite nasty, if I can
Yeah,
say
if they
that.
don't understand and
Yeah,
assume that means that you're a bit thick or something, which
yeah,
could not be further from the truth. And I
yeah,
know, when you were in that course, the first time you spoke, you could see people kind of sort of thinking, oh, what's this going to be like? And within about an hour of the course, they'd seen this
yeah.
amazing
Wow.
personality of you, and everyone loved you, and they'd just be laughing at your jokes and so enjoying your presence in the course, as did I, because you have so much personality and so on. And I think it's really good for people to know that,
Yeah,
just because someone's voice might be slightly unusual
yeah,
doesn't mean anything about their intelligence, their depth, their humor, their everything else. It's just a little part of the brain that has been affected, nothing else. It's one of the reasons I felt really inspired to share your story here so that people can understand that more and
yeah.
change their reactions. Tell us about how that was for you when you were young going to school. And I imagine school kids would have even less
Oh,
understanding and compassion than adults.
yeah. I dealt with everything, a lot of bullying,
Mm,
and for me growing up, I thought it was normal.
mm,
So I I didn't actually speak out. I just put it on my shoulder and I
mm,
just lived with it. It was horrible.
mm,
I hated it. As
mm.
a kid at school, I was a bit of a loner.
Did it
Even
affect your belief about yourself and your ability, or did you always know they've got it wrong? I am smart, I am capable.
I always knew I was, smart and
Mm.
capable from my loving parents.
So how did you get yourself through all that bullying? Because I imagine there'd be some people watching this recovery project who could really get some help about dealing with bullying.
I think in the end I opened up. I went and got some support, family, friends,
Mm,
mentors, people I look up to in the community. And then as I got older, it stopped caring what
mm,
people thought because I
mm.
developed my own beliefs. I'm a bit of black and white. It's like, well, you don't need to be part of my life. Life's got no time for negativity.
Mm.
Early 20s, I started speaking about it. I went and facilitated some speaking roles and I spoke to
Nice.
people about it.
Nice.
One of my first speaking roles I did was having CP and being different, and I walked into one of the local high schools and
Cool.
yeah, I opened up and put my life on the line.
Wow, that's so cool. How did that go?
It was amazing. The principal at the time saying afterwards, can you come back? Because my students have never been that quiet.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, because it's so important for people to just
Yeah,
understand this just is something that happens
yeah,
during the birth process, and it might be that it affects the part of your brain that controls your hand or your leg or your voice, but it doesn't affect anything else. You know, if people know that, then hopefully they'd stop being such
Yeah.
idiots in how they respond to people.
Yeah.
And whatever
And
it is, like I had a client that said they were getting bullied because they wear hearing aids. You think, you know, why are children so horrible? Who cares if someone needs a hearing aid? It doesn't
yeah.
mean anything about who they are. And, you know, if we can get into a place of greater acceptance for, we've
Yeah.
all got our quirks.
And it's like growing up, I was always called the special needs child.
Mm.
And looking back now, it's like everyone in the world is a special needs, because some people might be vegetarian, or
Yeah.
some everyone's got a need.
Yeah.
Um,
I
some
love it.
people,
Yeah, and some people are like extra sensitive to particular
yeah,
sounds or light, and someone else they get triggered to think about their child abuse when they hear a particular phrase, or you know, we've all got our quirk, haven't we, that sets us off. So
yeah,
I like that. That's a really cool idea, you know, that everyone's
yeah,
actually a special needs person, and we've just got to know what each person's needs are.
yeah. And it's quite interesting. My CP and my life hasn't affected my life. I'm an ordinary person with a disability, and I live an ordinary life. I've got a
Mm.
job, I'm married, and now I've got a 4-month little boy.
Woohoo!
So
So good. So you're doing everything you would have been doing, even if the CP had never happened in the first place.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I tell people that give me the same expectations, don't give me
Mm.
the easy way out.
Mm.
Yeah,
Nice.
a few years ago I did the Hamilton Half Marathon, and
Nice.
I put a goal in place. I said I wanted to complete it within 2 hours, and I think I crossed that line in about 1 hour 45 minutes.
Nice. Well done.
Growing up, my grandfather remembered the saying, "There's no word as can't."
Mm.
It was a pain because I used to have to find another word for
Mm.
can't, or I would just have to get on with it and have a go.
Nice. So
And
you learnt that there were all sorts of things you could do because you couldn't use the word can't.
can't, yeah. I would say don't settle for second best.
Mm.
There's always a way out. Um,
Mm.
and for me, Empower Therapy sorted that out.
Mm.
You've got nothing to lose. Like
Mm.
for me, I was at rock bottom. I didn't have anything to
Mm.
lose, but I had a life to gain.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. And what about someone who's dealing with bullying?
Don't hide it.
Mm. Yeah.
Speak up. Don't go and tell everyone. Find
Mm.
one person or two people you trust.
Yeah. Make sure
Mm,
someone knows what's going on
yeah,
and get the help.
yeah. And
Nice.
I found when I started talking about bullying, my bullies lost the power.
Excellent. I love that phrase. That is so powerful. And then the third round is someone living with some sort of disability, whatever it may be. Someone with special needs, which we now know is all of us.
Right,
How does
yeah.
someone deal with that?
Don't look at the disability, look
Mm.
at the possibility.
Nice. Oh, you're so good with your phrases. This is so much wonderful wisdom you've offered everyone today. It's just great. So much inspiration, great ideas across such a lot of different areas. So Thank you so much for that. And I really hope some of the bullies from your childhood watch this as well. Not that we'll hold it against them, you know, that
No,
they were young
no,
too. They didn't
yeah,
understand, they didn't know better, so no hard feelings. But it would be wonderful for them to see who you became. But yeah, let's hope that we can educate everyone, but especially children in this world, to have a
yeah,
far better understanding of all the quirks and differences between us, and
yeah,
to have respect for that and curiosity rather than judgment. Thanks enormously, Stephen. I've always loved talking with you. You always
yeah,
make me laugh and smile and feel uplifted and
yeah.
inspired.
Thank you.
As I pass from dusk to dawn, I can see